But I remember that being a time in my life where I was like, God, what are you doing here? Like, I thought that this was what I was supposed to be doing. And here now it's hard. And I'm coming up against a ton of resistance. And I think the lesson in that for me was that just because there's resistance doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing. Welcome to the Andrea Engstrom Show for bold women in business. We are passionate about helping you break through to your next level of abundance, success, and freedom so that you can create the life you desire and inspire others to do the same. I'm your host, Andrea Engstrom, and I'm here today with my co-host, Brenda Stroud. Hey, Brenda.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Well, we are excited to bring the conversation today. We have been talking about how to be tenacious and get into the mindset that you can do hard things. And I know that one of the reasons that Brenda and I have stayed connected over the years is because we've been through hard things and we needed a friend to help us get through it. And so we might go for a few days without talking, but then something comes up and I'm like, girl, I need to talk.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's this idea that that you could be an overnight success and everything's going smooth. And what not everybody sees is what has happened behind the scenes and the years of trials and challenges that led to that. And so we're going to dig into that today of what does it mean to show up and be tenacious day after day, even when things are hard.
Yeah, I think that not only applies to business or, trying something new, but I think it also applies to relationships and friendships.
Yeah.
Because you have those times and those moments where, let's say, even referring to our connection, we've known each other now almost 6 years. That if we wouldn't have kind of hung in there and build a relationship so we could trust each other so that we could make that phone call now and say, girl, look, I got to tell you this, then I would have missed that opportunity to have, this relationship. So it does require a lot of effort and work in all aspects of your life, your relationships, your friendships, your business. There is no such thing as a microwave anything.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was even thinking about you went right to relationships. I went to health. And I was just thinking about how when you're working on health or fitness goals, that it's the things that we do every day that make the impact. There's not a microwave easy button solution to all of a sudden waking up and feeling fit and healthy. And I think I'm thinking about that because I was telling some of the girls the other day, I was like, I feel like I put on 10 pounds this year and I know it's perimenopause and I've got all these things going on and I need to quit eating so much crap. Like that's part of it. It's the little things that we do every day. And I need to get my butt outside for a walk and put in the reps to work on my fitness. And so you're right. It applies to every area of our life that we want to, if you want to accomplish something that is worth accomplishing, or you want to overcome an obstacle that feels like it's been a challenge for a really long time, there's not a microwave easy button to zap it into effect. We've got to show up and do the work.
That's right. And I think also we got to be very careful not to assume that things that you got it so easily, So if you're on the outside and you're looking at, two people who have a really good friendship, it's like, dang, I wish I had something like that. Well, you can't see from that view the work that was put into it to build the trust, to be there for each other. And that also applies to success in business or success in other areas of your life. We don't get to see the work that actually goes into it. You end up seeing the end product.
Yeah.
Of it all. So I think it's important to understand the steps that are required and the bumps in the road that you're going to come across when you're moving towards something great. And good friendships, good relationships, that stuff is great. That's fantastic. That's part of what I know for me, that's part of what keeps me healthy is having solid friends around me. Somebody's going to be honest up front. Allow me to be myself and all, cry every once in a while, laugh every once in a while, and not be judgy. And then, if there's a need to judge, but be able to have that tough conversation and move on from there. So those things require work, but on the outside looking in, you don't see the work that goes into it. You just see the end product that wherever they are that day. So I think we have to remind ourselves of that.
Yeah, yeah, that's so good. And you know, I love the stories of people who have achieved something great, but the real story that's behind that. And we were just talking about a few of those types of people, and one that came to mind was J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter series, and it felt like it was an overnight success. But what a lot of people don't know is how many times she got turned down by publishers before one agreed to finally to publish one of her books. And boy, what a smart person, or what a good decision that was, and all the other ones that said no and turned her down. But I got to tell you, the easy thing for her would have been to pitch it to a few publishers and then say, well, I guess it's no good. I guess I don't have anything worth doing, and to make that rejection become a truth, or a story that's or something that she believes about herself and her capabilities. But instead to lean in and ask one more person, send the manuscript to another person.
I think that's good. You made a great point there, is that making sure that your efforts are not based on other people's opinion, but of your own opinion. I think that right there is gold. Because if you allow someone else to tell you, oh, that's not good, or, it might not be good for them, that doesn't mean it's not good. So it's all about connecting with the right person. And I believe in manifestation. What comes out of your mouth becomes a reality. So you don't want someone else's perception of what you're doing, ambulance going by, of what you're doing to be your description of yourself. And I think that's the difference between someone who pushes through that kind of scenario and someone that allows it to shut them down or stop them from getting where they need to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it reminds me, I've got a couple personal stories here too, but one of the hardest parts of when I got started in real estate investing was this season when I had these properties and I put renters in them, and I was trying to refinance properties and I got told no. And I was like, what do I do? Like, I got told no by 8 different lenders. And if you've ever tried financing a property, and I know you've done it 30 times or more, Brenda, so you know what I'm talking about. But when you're asking someone to finance a deal, there's a lot of paperwork involved. And I was doing this with 6 properties at one time. And so I sent all the details for all of the properties and financial statements and and bank account stuff and all these things that they were requesting of me, just to be told no again and again and again. And finally I got a yes. And finally I found a couple of different lenders that were willing to, one of them was willing to do 2 of them, and the other was willing to do 4 of them. And I had to think different. Like, I had to be willing to take a different approach and recognize that it's not going to be, I can't do everything all at once. And so there was good learning and tenacity there. But I remember that being a time in my life where I was like, God, what are you doing here? Like, I thought that this was what I was supposed to be doing. And here now it's hard. And I'm coming up against a ton of resistance. And I think the lesson in that for me was that just because there's resistance doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing.
That's right.
Just because it's not easy doesn't mean that you've made a mistake. Right.
That's right. And I think it's important. And I remember when you were going through that, and just the level of support that we gave each other as you were going, or we gave you as you were going through that. And what do we understand, as an investor that has to go through that refinancing process? That one no is just a one no. There are thousands of lenders out there. You just got to keep going until you get the right one. It's all about the right relationship and the right fit. But when you're going through it and you're getting those no's, I mean, it's like a punch in the gut, because that's the difference between continuing to pursue that and letting that define the scenario, or letting that define your portfolio at the time. It's a difference between success and foreclosure.
Yeah.
You could have given up. Now you could have let that beat you down. But I'm a firm believer there's always the right lender out there. You just got to find them. It's like a needle in a haystack sometimes, depending on what your scenario is. So you just have to remember to not let those few no's you may run across, stop you from continue to move forward, because that's the difference between giving up and actually being there to receive the success, or to receive the yes that's just around the corner. You believed in it and you continue to press forward, and you, like you said, you eventually found your yes. So so what if you would have given up with the lender just before the yes?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And the resistance is not evidence that you should quit. What if it's
Right.
evidence that you're becoming the woman that you need to be, who's capable of carrying the vision?
Yes.
Because I
That's
can
right.
point back to those experiences and know that the character and the faith and the tenacity that built in me prepared me for my next chapter, prepared me
Yeah.
to when I was getting ready to launch my own coaching program. I can go
Absolutely.
back to that and say that because I went through something hard, and boy, that was just one of the hard things, right? Like
Right.
because I can do hard things, and
Yeah.
like now I know I can do a new hard thing.
Right. Right. Was it really hard? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When you get on the other side of it, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
once you go to close it, oh yeah, it wasn't that
I
bad.
know.
So it does make you stronger. It does make you better. It does better prepare you, and it doesn't allow a no to shut you down in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the things that we have to remember as business women, as mothers, as wives, as partners. You cannot allow someone else's no to become your no. I
Mhm.
hear someone else's no as a not right now.
Yeah.
That means you're not ready for me.
Yes. Yes. And that's so good. I think we have a worldview or expectation that because we have the capacity, that whoever we're interacting with, we expect them to have the same capacity. Because
Right.
we feel ready, we expect that other people should feel ready.
Right.
And
That's right.
or because we feel really strongly about something, we expect that other people should get it immediately or should also be aligned with that. But it may not be the right thing for them, or it may be,
Right.
and I think I heard a preacher say this one time, but that
Hmm.
because you have gallon size capacity for love, and you may be interacting with someone who has pint size capacity
Hmm.
for love,
Hmm.
your expectation is that they're going to love you with the same gallon
Right.
size love capacity that you have. I think the same thing applies in other areas of our life. Because you have gallon size capacity for risk doesn't mean the person that you're inviting to your opportunity has the same capacity for
That's
risk,
right. That's
right?
right. That's key. That's key right there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Really being able to assess whether or not, well, I know that I'm a risk taker. I'm a
yeah,
run around with a parachute in my back, jumping off bridges kind of girl.
yeah,
Okay. But everybody's not like that. So you really have to be able to assess the people that you're considering going into partnership with or relationship with has the same level, are risk takers as well.
right.
And sometimes you're not aligned and you don't realize it until further down the road. So, so don't let someone else's inability to meet you where you are define where you're going.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not everybody's gonna get it, not everybody's gonna support it, and I think when someone has a ceiling of belief for themselves, they
Hmm.
will sometimes project that on you,
Yeah.
right?
That's
They're
right.
like, "Well, because I can't imagine myself doing that, then I can't support you doing it because it doesn't feel aligned." But
Yeah.
it's their own limitations that they may be projecting on you, and that's
Yeah.
a hard thing to navigate. Like, it's hard to know, because we will internalize sometimes when someone doesn't see the vision, or if we're presenting, and I'm thinking about like in that instance of publishing, if she had a vision for what that could be, and the person that she presented, like the publisher after publisher after publisher, didn't catch the same vision, and
Right.
it wasn't the right fit. But it may be because they're like, well, I haven't seen that succeed before, and so their ceiling of belief was maybe different
Right.
than the vision that she had or what had been given. And so we've got to watch out for that we don't allow somebody else's limiting belief to dictate what we can or cannot do, or what we are capable of because of what somebody else says.
That's true. That is so true. So I think in the business and industry that we're in, especially well, in real estate investing, I should say,
Yeah.
it's a male dominant industry. For a very long time. It was a male dominant industry. So
Mhm.
even for me, when I first started out about six years ago, well, full time 6 years ago,
Mhm.
I ran into some of those issues where people just didn't believe, little lady, what are you doing? Or little lady, and then when they start with little lady, you already know what you're going to be dealing with, which is someone else's perception of what you should be doing in their eyes as compared to what you're actually doing. So once I kind of get an idea that I'm dealing with someone who's coming from a different place, a place that I'm not familiar with, because I believe in myself and I know that I'm more than capable of doing whatever I put my mind to, that's the energy that I bring to the table, is
Right.
that I know I can do whatever I put my mind to. And you just revealed to me that you're not going where I'm going. That maybe you're not a good fit for me. I'm
Right.
looking for a yes from you. I need to give you a yes to work with me. So also I think people have to be very mindful and very careful of assuming that when you see someone and they've accomplished that where they look like they're successful or that they've accomplished their goals, you don't really see the work that's gone into it. So it's not easy, it's not overnight, it's not like, oh, I wish I could do this. Well, then you have to also be prepared to do all the work that goes into what it took for them to get to that, what you're witnessing today and what you're looking at today.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. One of the examples that you brought up before the call today was Anita Baker,
Yes.
and I love that example because
Hmm.
she looked like an overnight success, but the reality is she spent a decade making music and even releasing albums that didn't have a lot of success until finally, after a decade or so, she released the
Rapture. The
Rapture
Rapture.
album.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Amazing
then
album.
wow, she blew up,
Yeah.
but she put in the work for over a
She did.
decade
And
before that was
she had a bit. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say she put in the work for over a decade before she finally had something that felt like a great success, and then now we all know who she is.
Yeah, I think what kind of caused people to not know what to do with her or how to categorize her, it was the sound of her voice.
Yeah.
She had such a unique sound that they probably hadn't really heard before. So they was like, oh, that's you're not gonna be successful, or that's not a good, whatever the things that they say. But it's because of the sound of her voice where Rapture was such a successful album. And to this day, some of the songs that's on that album are songs you're going to hear in weddings. You're going to hear probably the rest of our lives. She's an amazing
Yeah.
artist, but she's not the
Yeah.
only one.
Yeah. No, I think
Hmm.
that is such a good also like analogy that
Hmm.
you may sound different or look different or not fit the mold of what
Right.
other people have seen have like successful in that particular thing you're trying to do. But the reality might be that because you don't look and sound like everybody else, because you are you,
Yeah.
you are going to have the great success later that is recognizable. And this is something that I tell my students all the time who are creating coaching programs. They're like, "But I'm just me." And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
girl, you're you. You're exactly the person with the story and the voice. Your unique voice is the reason that people will want to work with you. And it
That's right.
may take a minute, but if we keep showing up and we keep leaning in and sharing our voice, people are going to get it, and you're going to be a magnet for the people who your story is for,
That's right.
that
That's right.
need your voice, that need that
Yeah.
uniqueness that only you can bring to the world. And
Hmm.
when I think about also like over the course of my career, I launched my coaching program, and the thing that's really magnetic about my story is the 100K in 90 days that I did when I first launched my coaching program. But what most people don't see is the, 12, 13 years of
Yeah.
working in the coaching industry, building someone else's dream that led to me being an overnight success, or led to me being ready for that moment where I knew that I needed to launch my own thing, and to be able to take those years of experiences and challenges. And
Yeah.
I got certified as a business coach 10 years before I launched my own coaching program.
Yeah.
Because when I got certified as a business coach, I was working for somebody else. I was working for my dad. And I remember like I got a few clients, and I think his dream for me was that I would be a really successful coach right away, just like him. He was rookie of the year in the coaching organization that we got certified in. And he wanted me to be rookie of the year. He wanted me to have like be that breakout success. And of course, he'd been coaching for over 20 years before he joined that organization and became rookie of the year. But so he had a lot of good experiences and learnings behind him before he stepped into that overnight success moment.
Yeah.
And when I launched my own, not my own coaching program, when I first started selling myself as a coach working under somebody else's franchise, I struggled. I didn't feel confident in myself. I was more comfortable promoting someone else because I was like, well, they've been doing it for years. They're really good. And who am I? I'm just figuring it out. And the truth is that I had a lot of good information, and I absolutely could help people grow their business. And I had a couple of good stories from the people that I served during that time, but I had such resistance to selling myself that I wasn't showing up in my full energy and my full potential and my full power, because I was second guessing myself all the time because I was comparing myself to someone with 20, 30 years more experience than I had.
Right. Well, you definitely have to be, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So that comparison for like, we will compare ourselves for defamation instead of comparing ourselves for inspiration. Like it's good to look at what other people are doing that are successful that we can learn from. But when we start to look at them and say, well, I can't be as good as them, so maybe I should just quit, or maybe I shouldn't be confident pitching myself. Somebody else would be better working with someone besides me because I'm just new and I don't really know everything I need to know, or I don't know everything that they know. So let me just shrink back and promote someone else, or do something that's more comfortable. And I spent almost a decade doing something more comfortable and not stepping into that full potential that I had as a coach, because it felt hard and I felt resistance. And so I shrunk back. And it wasn't until I had this like aha moment where I heard somebody say, bet on yourself, and give me a few clear steps to like move out of that dissatisfaction of working for someone else. It's like I worked for somebody else for so long and built other people's dreams for so long that finally my dissatisfaction was high enough that it just took a spark of vision and some clear first steps, and then I took that action. But I think I don't share that story enough, that it took me a decade of second guessing myself and shrinking back. And people are like, well, how were you shrinking back? You were girls. I was promoting other people, not promoting myself. I wasn't promoting my own business. I was promoting other people. And I did it very successfully. And then finally I had the confidence to do my thing. But it wasn't because it was an overnight success. It was because I spent years learning the trade, like promoting other people, until finally I decided it was my time. And I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was working really hard for somebody else.
Yeah, no, I know that feeling. When you're thinking about what you're building, because as we develop different parts of our personality and have different experiences, we're basically laying the foundation.
Yes.
So as you were working for other people and building up other companies, you were actually laying the foundation for what you have today. But it does start with you, first of all, being able to see yourself and believe that you yourself can do what it is that you're training yourself to do. So when you're dealing with lack of confidence, and you kind of listening to the voices in your head, or the voices that's coming from people around you that's negative, for various different reasons, because there's sometimes reasons why other people around you don't want to see you come into your fullness because they're bothered by it or whatever. And that's a whole nother, probably another topic. But you know that those attempts or those situations where maybe it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, you're laying the foundation, because now you're going to be able to, you know, get in your car of life and drive down the road, and you're going to get to that fork in the road, and you're going to be able to make a conscious decision because you've gone one way before and it didn't work the way you wanted, you know, that you expected it to work. So now you've put yourself in a situation because of your life experience, because of some of the things that's happened in the past that didn't go the way you wanted it to go, or because you did not believe in yourself, you know, enough to take that next step, that as you get further down the road, you're going to be able to make that conscious decision and say, and bet on yourself. And you'll be able to, you know, to move towards your destiny, because it is about your destiny. And now your destiny is one thing, and you believing in yourself to reach that is another.
Yeah.
So that ends up being the turning point for us, is don't give up just because it's tough. Don't give up just because, you know, it looks easier for them to do it than when I'm experiencing it. And you tell yourself, oh, it couldn't have been this hard for Mary or for Jane. And you don't know how hard it was for them, because that's not, you're not seeing that. You didn't see the road they had to travel to get to where they are today. So you have to you have to remember, don't measure yourself against someone else's quote unquote idea of success, because you don't know what the journey looked like. You don't know how many times they had to run a mile before they could do the sprint, you know, successfully. So we have to remember that when we have those moments and our head is down and it's like, oh, this is hard, or, you know, oh no, another no. You cannot let that stop you from getting where you need to go, because you need to be able to manifest your own future through your belief in yourself.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah. And I think, you know, I wonder how many stories could have been. I remember hearing Ed Milet speak on stage one time talking about this idea of, you know, getting to heaven one day and God showing him, this is who I intended you to be. This is the destiny that this is the dreams that I had for your life.
Yeah.
And to want to show up there and not be filled with regret or disappointment that I didn't step up. I didn't do the thing that you called me to do. Like, because I truly believe that God has bigger dreams for our lives than we can possibly dream for ourselves.
Right. That's right.
And then he puts desires in our heart, and the more that we push those desires away and tell ourselves stories about why we are not enough. I want to have the audacity to see myself how God sees me.
Yeah.
The audacity to take action at a level that he knows I'm capable of and that he created me for.
Yeah.
And I don't want to wake up a decade from now and have a new story of how I played small, how I shrunk back, how I didn't step into what I really wanted, or what I know that God had for me, that I just was too afraid or anxious, or, you know, didn't show up with the energy for it, because of other choices that I made, or I let, you know, any hangups or addiction get in the way, or bad habits.
That's right.
You know, like I have a big, I don't know. I feel like FOMO sometimes is like a big driving factor for me. It's like I would rather regret something that I did and I tried than to regret never trying at all.
Yeah, that's right.
And so that's, I think, for maybe for both of us, where some of that risk tolerance comes in, is like, I don't want to always wonder what if.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if I had just tried? What if I kept going with that idea? What if I had asked one more person?
Yeah. You know, I know, you know, I think for me, it's a matter of, what do I have to lose? Why not try? Why not move forward? Why not keep looking? Well, I mean, what do I have to lose? I'm starting out with a no, because I don't have it.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I mean, just think about it. You know, if just some of the key people that we are familiar with, you know, what if Oprah would have given up when she was fired, her job in Baltimore? You wouldn't have an Oprah Winfrey today.
That's right.
You know,
That's right. Yeah, they
you
told
know.
yeah, they told her like, we don't think you're cut out for television news, right?
No, she's cut out to own it.
That's
That's what
right.
it
That's
is.
right. She's cut
You
out to
know,
be a media empire
mogul.
builder,
Yes, that's
not
right.
not just
Yeah,
a newscaster. But
yeah. So
yeah,
I mean, so there are a lot of people out there that that you're looking at them today and you see the end result, of their hard work. But when you start digging into them, you'll see how many times they were fired, or how many times whatever that product was failed or whatever. But they kept pushing because they believed in themselves, or they believed in the product, or they just it was just so much more. They didn't let one person stop them from becoming who they are today. So you gotta be very careful. Don't turn the light out too soon. You're gonna
yeah,
miss the show.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we like to do on the show is challenge our listeners to do something to take bold action. So, Brenda, let's think about this for a second. What is something that we
Okay.
could challenge our listeners to do this week to take bold action, maybe on something that they've set to the side, or that they feel like they're slowing
Yeah.
down on because they're feeling resistance, they feel like it's hard. What's one thing to do that could actually help them keep moving forward?
What comes to mind when you're asking that question is I would suggest that they go back to that one thing that that caused them to shut down. That that either a most recent no, or a project that something's just not going right. Revisit that.
Mm,
With a new mindset and a new energy, to see if have I really explored everything that I am capable of exploring in reference to this particular decision or this particular topic. So revisit some of the no's that you feel like, oh, I just can't go any further. Take one more step.
hmm
Take one
Yeah.
more step.
Yeah. The woman who wins is usually the woman who lasts,
Yes,
right? Everybody wants the breakthrough. Few people want the becoming. And so the breakthrough is a moment, but the becoming is a process.
that's right.
And
That's right.
so your job isn't to be fearless. It's just don't quit. Don't
That's
quit
right.
today. Don't quit tomorrow. Just do one more step, one day at a time.
That's right. Because if you're not running a race, you can't win the race.
That's right. That's right. Oh, girl, I love that. All right, Brenda, beautiful conversation. Tell our listeners how people can get in touch with you if they want to connect with you and learn more about what you do to help other women that are on their journey of becoming.
Okay, you can go to my website, brendastroud.com. You can also find me on social media using my name, Brenda Stroud, Stroud. And yeah, I'm out there.
Amazing. Amazing.
Okay.
And if you're a woman entrepreneur listening today and you think that you may have a spark of something that could be of service to others from your years of personal and professional experience, I would love to help you explore that. I have a workshop called 100K in 90 days. And I host that workshop every single month, and you can grab your spot at andreaengstrom.com.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much, Brenda. I appreciate you showing up for another powerful conversation today.
I appreciate you too. We always have such great topics and great conversation. I learn from every session.
Amazing. Well, till next
Yeah.
time, I'm Andrea Engstrom with my co-host, Brenda Stroud, and we are your sisters in business, encouraging you to take action on your dreams. Show up to your life with power and authenticity. Be bold, be tenacious, and make it happen.
Bye.